Hello, everybody. Welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions. If you are tuning in, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. Shout out to your city. Let me know where you're from. Gonna give you guys a few seconds to get on here. That way, welcome. If you are tuning in for the first time, please grant StreamYard permission. That way I can see I can see your name. I can see this is supposed to be a dialogue. So I want to know who is on here with me. So grant StreamYard permission. That way I can see you in the comments. Okay. Welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions. I'm Virginia Madison. I'm your host. Everybody calls me Gigi. And it is such Boston in the house. Hey, Robin. And so I am so excited to have you all here tonight. We get to have a conversation that is long overdue. And so Confidence Tea Infusions is a luxury line of loose leaf tea that is coupled with intimate conversations that aim to transform your mind, edify your soul, and most importantly, activate your confidence. And so, if you are tuning in for the first time and you're not used to Confidence Tea Infusions, we chat it up and we drink tea. And so, tonight, I am going to be drinking my lemon mango confidence tea. So, if you guys want to, our website is up. I'm going to post the website for the tea. Our launch will be happening next month. So, check us out. I'm super excited about our tea launch. And so this is what we're working with, guys. So this is our confidence tea. And I actually poured some out so you guys can see. This is loose leaf tea. So can you guys see that? I don't want to drop it on my laptop. So this is what we're working with, okay? So this is real chunks of lemon and mango. It smells so good. So check us out. Go to confidenceteainfusions.com to order your very own loose leaf lemon mango. We have other flavors, but lemon mango is just my favorite. So that's what I'm going to be drinking tonight as we have this conversation. So good. And so we have a very special guest tonight. I have Mr. Mathematics in the house. And so I'm super excited. We get to just chat it up with him. We're going to be talking about just confidence issues from a male perspective. You know, sometimes us as women, we don't necessarily know what the men are thinking, you know, and so we want to hear from a man's point of view. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And so I want to just kind of, if you're new, I see some new people in the house tonight. I want to kind of briefly just introduce myself. So if you've never seen me before, if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. And so, like I said initially, I go by Gigi. Everybody calls me Gigi. I really don't know how that came about, but that's what I go by. And so, I am what you would call a Jill of many trades. I am a licensed insurance broker. I am a licensed esthetician. I'm a certified life coach, and I'm a certified etiquette consultant. I have been featured in Voyage ATL magazine. Shout out to ATL. I was recently featured in Influence Her magazine. And this year, I have been nominated for an Achi Magazine Award as Nonprofit Executive of the Year. So I'm super excited about that. It's been just an awesome journey. And even with all of my accolades, what I am most proud of is being the founder and CEO of Gigi Inc., which is a nonprofit that I started back in 2017. It is Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength. We're a confidence building organization for girls between the ages of 12 and 18. And basically, what we do is we help girls journey through adolescence with healthy self-confidence and positive self-esteem so that they can win the mental, physical, and emotional battles of adolescence. And we offer different courses virtually, and we offer workshops, we offer mentorship programs, and resources for girls around the globe. So it's awesome. And you guys, if you need more information about Gigi Inc., you can go to www giginc.org. And so super, super excited. So I want to tell you a little bit about our guest for tonight. I don't want to keep you all waiting. And so I want to just, I'm going to read a little bit about him, but he's going to tell you in depth all about who Mr. Mathematics is. Hello, if you're tuning in, go ahead and just let us know in the chat what city you're tuning in from. Hey, Camille. Hey, Robin. Hey, Jean. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here tonight, chatting it up with Mathematics on Confidence Tea Infusions. So let me tell you about our guest. So Mathematics is a man that has made more wrong choices than right ones in his life. That this is his words, y'all, not mine. He spends the majority of his time setting the bar at perfection, but his goals are always progress. He grew up in Cambridge, Boston State Prison, and substance abuse recovery homes and detox. We actually work together, me and Mathematics, we work together at a detox facility. And so his transformation from a negative to a positive has given him a second opportunity at life. This is so good. I love to see our brothers just, making a change for the better. And one of the things I love about Math is he is a writer. He's going to spit some rhymes. He does poetry, y'all. It's so good. So definitely excited. So without any further ado, guys, please welcome Mathematics to Confidence Tea Infusions. Give him a shout out. Hey, Math.
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
What's up?
Good to see you again. Everything's it's a blessing. I'm too blessed to be stressed, and I'm really happy to be here. I really appreciate you inviting me to come on your platform, because the way we get confidence is we have to get through our comfort zones. So my normal comfort zone is usually like recovery, prison, fatherhood to speak about, and to come on this platform and be given the opportunity to talk about confidence, which I've never done before on this platform. And then you told me that this would the bulk of the people on here would probably be women. So that's a different avenue for me. But I know that the way that you get to confidence is you have to get through that fear. So I appreciate you having the confidence in me to have me come on here tonight and just share my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the people. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you, Mac. You are definitely an inspiration. And, I just feel that you inspire, you touch so many people on a daily basis. And I just knew that we wanted to, have you on here and touch some people. And so this is so amazing. I'm excited about just getting to have this conversation with you tonight, because, women always wonder, we know what it is and what we perceive as confidence, or what we strive to attain, but we never stop to think about, from a man's perspective, how does a man view confidence, and what are some of the things that as women sometimes we kill ourselves trying to do, what we're trying to attract you all. And a lot of times when I speak to different men, they like, we don't care about all that. Like, we don't care about the weave, or we don't care about the makeup, or we don't care about this. And so I just want to really dive into this conversation. And I have a lot of women I posted on Facebook that, had some questions for you, so I did have a few women that had some questions. And ladies, if you're on here and you want to, feel free, utilize the chat. I will post them out. I will read what you got to say. So definitely, we're going to dive in, Matt. So you lead the conversation. I'm just going to be here interjecting every now and again. Okay. So I would love to hear, what confidence, how you define, or, your definition or perception of confidence and what that looks like and everything like that. So
confidence is basically how much comfortability that I have in my own skin, and how much, I love to use, they call me Mathematics. I use a lot of numbers. And so there's 10 letters in the word confidence, right? And then 1 + 0 = 1. But then there's also 10 letters in the word acceptance, and then 1 + 0 = 1. So confidence and acceptance both have to be the number one things in life. How much of acceptance I have within myself and the fact that I'm not a perfect being and I'm not going to be perfect is going to govern how much confidence I express and share with others. But there's also like there's three C's in the word acceptance. There's how comfortable am I in my own skin? How much am I going to challenge myself? And then how much am I going to have some acceptance around the things I cannot change? And how much am I going to have some acceptance around I have to change the individual who I am if I really want to be confident? And so confidence really for me is like faith, right? If I have confidence, I was confident today that I was going to get on the stream. You were going to be there. You were going to be on time, right? You were going to have some good representation. This was going to be a professional setting, and that's confidence. So confidence is basically faith, and it's how much faith do I have in myself, and how much am I working on my imperfections? And so one of the things that I always have to work on is I'm only as strong and as only as confident as my biggest weakness. Like I love to speak all the time and I always come on here and speak, but preparation is key. I had to sit there today and actually ask myself, what do I want to speak about? I did a meditation before coming on here because there's a thin line between confidence and arrogance, right? So I had to do a meditation.
Very thin line.
I had to do a meditation to kind of calm my nerves down and also say, bring God in, push the ego out, because I want to make sure that I share a message with someone that's going to strengthen them, help them, and not just make it all about me. And at the same time, I have a mindset that always wants to be perfect. But I realize that there's no such thing as perfect, So when I count the letters in the word perfect, there's 7. And the 7th letter in the alphabet is G, that's God, because the only thing that's perfect is God and his creation. But how much does the person that he created realize that they are perfect in their own skin? You know what I mean? So I always on a daily basis just have to realize that, like, I might not be perfect in what the world says is perfect, but I'm perfect for who I am as an individual and what I represent and what I do. And the best thing I can do on a daily basis is just try to be mathematics the best way that I can. And I realize that, like, not everybody's going to accept me for who I am and the individual that I am, but I just have to continue to try to drive and find some acceptance around the fact that, like, I'm not here to get everybody to like me. I've lived that life already, where if there was 100 people in the room and I went and spoke and 97 people said I crushed it and 3 people said I didn't really like what the brother had to say, I would have that mindset. Rather than focus on the 97 people that love me, I'm figuring out how can I get the 3 people that didn't like me to like me, right? And that's why I had to really work on my acceptance and realize that, like, this world tells me that I have to do these particular things and conform to be to be the individual that other people want me to be. But at the end of the day, man, I have to just be the best version of me. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I just have to try to really have some acceptance. But confidence is basically like how much preparation I put into going to do what I'm going to do. And then how much acceptance do I have around the fact that I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but there are some, I can see myself as being perfect in my own skin. And that's how I build my confidence up and how much effort I put into things on a daily basis.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And so you said like a mouthful, like right here. Like, part of me wants to just go in and just dissect everything you said, because you said so many things that were so powerful. You said you used to be like, if you spoke and 100 people was like, or 97 to 100 people and 97 people were like, you just crushed it, you will focus on that 3. And I feel like that is something that a lot of us deal with. We focus more on some of the negative aspects, instead of focusing on some of the more positive things about ourselves, or about some of the things, that the characteristics that we possess. We're always, I think, one of the biggest downfalls of confidence is that chase for perfection,
Well,
and always, and so, or in comparison as well, there's a saying that says, comparison is the what is it, the comparison is the is like the root of unhappiness, because the more you're always going to see it from a different vantage point when you're
Yes.
constantly, it's like apples and oranges. They have apples and oranges both can coexist because they have different qualities. They have different tastes. They have different, it's just like flowers. You look at flowers, and flowers bloom, and they all bloom so beautifully, but in their own way. And I feel
Yes.
like if we would accept ourselves like that, if we would look at each other like that, like you're gonna be successful in your realm, and I can still be successful in my realm. Nobody can be a better Gigi than a Gigi. Nobody can be a better mathematics than mathematics. And so I think that's one of the things that we as human, and I speak to women, but I know that men deal with confidence issues as well, just as
Oh,
well as
oh, that's why I asked you to bring me in that beautiful tea that you bought me in, but I have to realize that that was going to help me curve my diet, because I've dealt with insecurities about my weight ever since I was younger. And that's why part of the reasons why I was, I enjoyed drugs, because it would slim me out. But you brought up some key and some valuable points around the fact that confidence is when you're comfortable and confident in your skin, and then you take your confidence and you share it with other people. A confident individual is not only going to be confident, but they're also going to teach others how to be confident. An arrogant person is going to take their confidence and say, I'm better than you. Look at how good I am. And they're not going to show you how to become great. So that's really the difference between having a healthy confidence and having some good self-esteem, is the fact that I'm not only trying to be great myself, but I'm also going to try to show you how to achieve greatness. And so, that's why the first 15 minutes of the day, we should take time to build up our own self-esteem, our own self-worth. Ask ourselves, are we taking the time to write down 3 positive affirmations about ourselves, 5 positive affirmations about ourselves? Because if the first thing I do is reach for the cell phone, what I'm going to do is compare myself to the dude that has more than me, the dude that has a six-pack, the guy that's 20 years younger. Social media is a lot of comparing and then trying to be like. So the first 15 minutes of the day, I should wake up making myself confidence. Let me focus on my weaknesses. Let me continue to stay humble in my strengths, and then do what I got to do to build myself up to have a good day. Because a lot of times, the reason why there's a lot of hate on social media is because it's a comparison contest. And the reason why flowers are so beautiful is a rose doesn't try to compare itself to a daisy, and a daisy doesn't try to compare itself to a rose.
not at all.
We have a free will to compare. An orange doesn't compare itself to an apple, because an orange just says, I'm comfortable and beautiful being an orange. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the gift of life that makes us the supreme beings as humans, is we have a free will, but sometimes we abuse our free will. And you brought up the perfectionism. Perfectionism's real. And what that is when you constantly put this pressure on yourself to be perfect, but we also perfect that same way we put expectations on ourselves to be perfect, we also put those same expectations on others, right? And
Yeah.
so that's why perfectionism is so real. But I read a passage every day to start my morning off on acceptance, because I know I have control issues. I know I have acceptance of being comfortable in my own skin issues. So inside the passage, it says, God made everything the way it's supposed to be, and everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be in this present moment, exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I have to try to just do my best on a daily basis just to have some acceptance. And it took me a long time. It took me a lot of bumping my head a lot to realize that confidence and acceptance, those are 2 of the number 1 keys to life. I also want to say, I can't see exactly. I need 5 people. I got a little gift. You are still going to have to go to work tomorrow. I got a little gift for the first 5 people to put their Cash App in the chat. So at the end, I got a little gift for the first 5 people to put their Cash App in the chat.
All right, y'all.
So
Drop your
put
Cash
the
App.
first 5 people, you got to keep track of the first 5 people to put their Cash App in the chat.
Okay, look, it's gonna be right in order.
There's
So the first
there
5
is a little
people.
something involved but you're not going to be able to buy a Gucci purse. It's not going to pay your car note, and it's definitely not going to pay your rent. But it's a little gift, something, listen, it's just a little something, appreciation
Listen,
gift.
I love that. Drop your, okay, we got one down. So if you're tuning in, drop your Cash App in the chat. The first 5 people. Somebody said, what about Venmo or Zelle?
I got Cash App, but we can figure it out.
We can work it out. Drop
We
your
can work it
Venmo
out
or
between.
Zelle.
We'll figure it out. We're creative, and we'll make something happen.
So
So the
first
first,
5 people. So drop, if you got Venmo, you got Zelle, drop it in there. First 5 people, we gonna take the first 5. So drop it. If it's Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, whatever you got, go ahead and drop it in the chat. First 5 people gonna get a gift. I liked that. All right, so let's get into some questions, Math.
yeah, that's fine.
Because we have some ladies that had some questions. And so we're just going to talk about these questions and we're just going to go through them. So let me see. The first one.
So I just want to say I am definitely FDA approved when it comes to recovery. I'm definitely FDA approved when it comes to like not how to get to prison and how to stay out. I'm FDA approved in motivation and discipline, but it's just my opinion when it comes to relationships and stuff like that. So I just don't want no one going back and saying to their boyfriend, Math told me this, because it's just my opinion. I am not certain. I don't have the federal stamp when it comes to relationships, but when it comes to like motivation, discipline, confidence, recovery, building yourself up, and staying motivated on a daily basis, I definitely got that FDA approval.
All right. Well, let's dive into it. So the first question is, and some of these are pertaining to. So the first question is, what defines, so again, this is your opinion. What defines a confident woman? What qualities affirm her confidence? And is it viewed at first sight or upon interaction? So that was like the whole question.
To me, sometimes a confident woman is a woman that doesn't have to gratify their own greatness and kind of lets you see her good qualities and point them out. A lot of times when you meet a woman, she wants to tell you all the good things about herself, but the good qualities, we already know we're gonna like the good qualities. I need to know the imperfections, because the imperfections is going to govern how long the relationship is going to last. How many of your imperfections can I deal with, and how many of the flaws of the other person can I take on? So to me, it's kind of like when a woman's very humble in her confidence, that's pretty much attractive. And you know when a woman knows that she's good, whether she has a man or not, is always attractive. So a woman or a man should always be good, but then when they come together with their partner, then they can have great times, right? Mm-hmm. And I learned that, like, inside the word good, for me, I see the word God, right? So I had to get to God in order to be good. And then the other, there's 2 O's. We got to take care of ourselves. Then if we're taking care of ourselves, then we can take care of others. But, we should always make sure that we're good. And then if we get with a man, we can have great times. Or if a man meets a woman, but you don't want to be anybody's drug, where if you're with your partner, then you're good. But then when the person's not around, then we're like sick, because then that becomes toxic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it becomes like an addiction as well.
It becomes an addiction, and and I realize that sometimes I do like that over love and that over attention. But every time I get the over love and the over attention, it always ends up being a toxic relationship, right? It's just, it's kind of like there's a balance. Men are hunters, right? So a lot of times with us, the thrill is in the chase. And then once you catch the prey, sometimes, if the 2 people don't have good communication, if the 2 people don't have good fun together, then sometimes things get stale. And what happens with a stale loaf of bread? It ends up relationships a lot of times are just like a loaf of bread. And your confidence in your self-worth is just like a loaf of bread. You got to do what you have to do to keep it fresh. Make sure you still the wrapper, make sure you tie it up, because if something gets stale, we throw it out.
I like that loaf of bread analogy.
Yes.
I'm gonna steal that.
No, go ahead, man. This knowledge is free, it's infinite.
Right? I like that. I like that. That's very true. And I think a lot of times, when a woman exudes confidence, so I like to say this, confidence is silent and insecurities are loud.
Ooh.
So you don't ever see a tree walking around talking about, look at me, I'm a tree. The minute, if anybody has passed by a tree and the tree said, look at me, I'm a tree, please come and find me, because I want to see that. I want to see that tree say that to you. And
Yes.
so to me, I feel like when a woman is overly like, oh, look at me, I'm confident, I'm like,
she's trying to hide something.
yeah,
She's really
that's
trying to
just
hide it.
revealing your insecure nature. And so I feel that, and I can speak about it because I was her. I always used to have to be the loudest person in the room. I used to have to, and I was real borderline confidence, and like you said, arrogance, and like I was borderline conceited. You know,
Yes.
it was just, and so there's such a difference, and I can see the difference in me, you know, and that was a journey that God took me through in order for that confidence to shine, you know, my Godfidence, you know. And so it was definitely a turning
Confidence.
point, because you know, the person that I used to be had to be like, woo, you know, now I could care less. You know, like you could say hi to me, like I don't have to be, you know, I'm still social, like I'm a social butterfly. I love to talk to people. I love good conversation. Like
Yes.
this right here is life, you
Exactly.
know. And so but I feel like, to answer that question really is really like, sometimes the person just, there's a way that somebody carries themselves, and you can say, you know what, that's a confident person. Not that person doesn't have daily struggles just like everybody else, but there's just a different way. There's something about that person, and I feel like a lot of men do find that attractive, that a woman that just knows, like, I'm good, like I'm not codependent. Like if you don't call me every 5 seconds, I'm gonna be okay. You know, if you didn't tell me I look beautiful today, when I woke up, I told me that I was beautiful. You telling me I'm beautiful is an added bonus, but I don't need, like, you know, because I feel like sometimes some women, it's like you depend on, and it becomes like your crutch. You know, when you start like the way, if you're wanting this man to affirm you, but you're not affirming you, you now have a deficiency. So it's like you're waiting, and that it's almost, and like you said, like we can compare things to addiction because we work in that realm.
Yes.
And so we can really start to easily make the connection of how that does become a drug, because, oh, that person didn't feed that today. It didn't feed that ego today. It didn't say, oh, honey, you look good. Oh, honey, I like your hair. And it's like, no, tell yourself that you like, you know, like be comfortable, be confident in who you are, who God created you to be, whether you have that man to tell you or not. And I'm speaking from, like, I love compliments, you know, but at the same time,
we all do.
Compliment, I am my first compliment. And so that's always something that I definitely preach, you know, to women. Be your first compliment. You know, don't wait. Like, it's free. You could give yourself 10 compliments a day, you know? And so don't wait for a man or somebody else to give you that compliment, because people treat you based on how they see you treat yourself. So
exactly.
If you're treating yourself, and I think those are qualities of a confident woman, the way that she treats herself, the way that she speaks to herself, the way that she speaks about herself. And so I feel like these are the things that make a woman confident, and these are the things that keep a woman confident. So, you know.
But sometimes what happens is the things that a woman might do when she's alone, because, you know, we need that alone time to learn how to love ourselves. And that's what happens. A lot of times people say they want a healthy relationship, but don't even know what a healthy relationship is. And unless you have a healthy relationship with yourself, how are you going to have a healthy relationship with someone else? So a lot of times what happens is a man or a woman will have a particular routine that's giving them confidence, that's giving them some self-worth. But then when they get with that partner, they stop doing that routine. And now they let the person that they're with give them their validation. And I kind of like, I challenge myself every day. You know how when a man or a woman, when a woman comes out of the hair salon or the nail salon, and when a man comes out of the barbershop, man, you can't tell us nothing. The confidence is coming through the roof. Now we want to take all those pictures. The ladies want to play their angles, hold it in, play it, take their pictures. Whatever the guys, we want to, that same confidence that you have when you're coming out of the barbershop or the hair salon is what we got to try to have on a daily basis, right? What am I going to do so I can feel that worth and that like that diamond that I feel like when I come out of the barbershop? And there's particular things because I know at the end of the day that I'm a diamond, but I have to do things every day in order to buff that diamond. So, a confident woman is definitely, a lot of men like that, a confident woman, because that's what we're attracted to. But can she maintain that confidence once she's in the relationship? Because sometimes the confidence is what initially was attracted the individual. But if you stop doing those things that made you confident, then that's when things might become a little bit stale. And we sit there and say, all right, because all new brooms sweep good. My father always says that. All new brooms sweep good. You love that girl now, but come back and tell me how much you love her in 6 months. That's the key, right? And so
true.
do we maintain our stance of who we are when we met, or do we switch up because now we've fallen in love?
Okay, this brings me to my next question. So the next
Yes, ma'am.
question, so one of the sisters asked, can being, I guess, can being confident cause issues in a relationship? And in the aspect of like, does being a confident woman equate to being the boss in the relationship? So can that become or is that an issue?
If you're
And
with it,
again, you're speaking from your perspective and your opinion.
so personally, if I'm not taking care of my business, then yes, a confident woman can become intimidating. And then what happens is that's when you find a man that will say things to a woman to try to tear her down because they're trying to knock you down back to their size. But if a confident man is with a man that has good self-esteem, good confidence within himself, and he's working on himself, and then confidence isn't a problem. You know,
Yeah.
my girlfriend makes more money than me. She has more degrees than me, right? But that just sets the bar at something a little bit harder for me to strive for.
You
So
just got to raise the bar.
a
That's
lot of
it.
time, a lot of times, what happens is when someone has more than you, then they're able to pull you up rather than push you back down. You know what I mean? So a confident woman for a man is definitely um it's something to help you work for and to strive for. But as long as she's not practicing it in arrogance where she's acting better than you, just basically like, I might be doing a little bit better right now, but I'm going to put you in position to pick you up and help you get better as well.
And I totally agree with that because I feel like sometimes the roles can be reversed. You get what I'm saying? And so it could be that you start off at one point, but there's nothing to say that you can't build that empire together. I
Mm-hmm.
love seeing relationships like Jay-Z and Beyonce, like that type, like those dynamics of people where they're just like to get like I'm good by myself, but together we're a force to be reckoned with. Like, and I feel like that is something, there's something to be said about just a strong woman. And if ever you feel as a confident woman that your confidence is causing issues, and maybe it's because of that man's insecurity, or maybe whatever the dynamics is. Now I'm not going to get into like the bossiness and whatnot, but it should never be that you feel that you have to dial yourself back in order to make something work. Never try to fit a circle in a square, or a
Yes.
square in a circle or whatnot. You know,
So
if you're that,
yeah,
you know, if you're that woman and you exude and that is who you are, and that is, you know, because I've from personal experiences, sometimes I have met people like men that say, okay, you just too much. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm too much, you just can't have me there. Like, you know, if
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna dim my light to make you comfortable. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying? My light is
exactly.
supposed to radiate and it's supposed to shine bright. And
Yes,
so if ever I feel like I gotta dial back, I gotta lower myself. If you can't pronounce scrimps, you know, and I gotta say scrimps when we go out because you can't say shrimp, then you know you're just not the person for me. But I'm never going to minimize who I am in order to be in a relationship with someone that may not possibly be worthy of me in the first place or can't appreciate who I am as a confident woman. So
got
that's
you.
my answer to that question.
So, you know, in the book Think and Go Rich by Napoleon Hill, it says that the average man doesn't mature until he's 40 to 60 years old because we have to constantly, we're active learners. We're not passive learners. We have to constantly learn from our mistakes. So a lot of times kind of what happens is women mature faster than men. And so they achieve sometimes a little bit more than we do in certain situations, right? And so it's just I'm personally not intimidated, but when I'm not on top of my game like I am now, yeah, I can become intimidated, and then it just turns into like I can pick at her weaknesses to try to let her know that she's not as great. Rather than lifting her up, you can pick at the person's weaknesses and try to tear them down because you want to knock them down to size. But like you said, you know, you can't dull your shine for anybody. If you have to dull your shine, then you shouldn't be sharing space with those same people.
Yeah, definitely. So the next question is, what are some insecurity turnoffs for men that, you know, that you guys probably view like, you know, we have our, you know, every woman has insecurities that they struggle with or that they go through. But what are some of the things that stick out to you as far as you know, insecurity that's just okay, this is just a turn off. Like I don't want to even be bothered, like it's not worth me going through the pain and the hassle of that. Like some of the things that stick out to you as far as insecure women.
Um, Stage five clinger behavior, where everything has to be the same regimented thing on a daily basis. And if you don't do those particular things, then you're cheating or you're doing something different. And a lot of times that stuff comes up because the person might be bringing in past things that happened to them from past relationships. Um, you know, trust, maybe, you know, not really having the trust or the confidence that you're going to do a particular thing, or um, but the cleanliness sometimes when you overdo something, like I love pancakes, right? But I don't know if I want to eat 40 pancakes every day. So just realizing when someone doesn't realize that some of the things have to be, it has to happen in moderation, because if it happens too much, then what happens is if you get too much of something, then sometimes it can be, you know, we get tired of it. You know what I mean? But and then sometimes when someone constantly says that like they're constantly down on themselves and then needing validation from you to pick them back up, and the person might not even be overweight, the person's not ugly, but they're constantly saying, kind of playing the victim role, where they want to constantly play the victim so that they can get nice things from you to be, you know, being said so that you can pick them back up. And I'm not saying that a man's not supposed to say nice things to his woman to uplift her, you know, her self-esteem and her self-worth. You should, but you don't want to use that as a tool. Let me put myself down just so that he can put me in a position to pick me up. Let it just happen naturally. That's what gratitude is. If a man's really grateful that he has you in his life, gratitude is when, appreciation is when someone shows you that they value you based on something you gave them. Gratitude is when you appreciate someone based on just them being like, I'm walking in the mall, it's not your birthday, and I just grab you them roses and I bring them home. That's because I'm grateful for who you are as an individual, even though you've done nothing for me.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that someone I dated someone and they said something that was really powerful, and it always stuck out to me. And they said that power is meant to be cherished and not taken advantage of. And so I feel like what could be a turnoff is like some women, as women, we're powerful creatures. We hold a lot of power. And so sometimes I feel like women, we use our power in the wrong way. And instead
especially
of
when we're
you,
wrong,
huh? Yeah. And instead of
especially when they know
using,
their man's wrong.
huh?
Like if they know their man's wrong, did something wrong, and they kind of like beat you up for it.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
you use the power, like you like we have powerful influence as women.
Mhm.
We have a tongue, we have our tongue is like a double-edged sword. We can praise him and
Mhm.
we could tear him down,
Yes.
and so I feel like we have to know how to utilize our power, because power is meant to be cherished. When you have a good man or somebody that loves you and somebody that cares for you, as far as, and we don't jump to a whole nother conversation, but to make my point, but as far as utilizing that power, to build that man and not to hold him hostage, or just just the negative things, and that can be such a turn off, and really that's a sign of insecurity, that you're insecure in yourself, that you have to use this person in a negative way, almost like, okay, I got to make sure I keep him, and I hear so many women like say like that talk, and it's just like, that is such a turn off. Like, if I had a brother, I would make sure they run far away from you,
Yep.
because
Yep.
that's just not right. And so definitely I would say some of the some turnoffs is like being insecure, like that constant need for validation, and just always needing, that is like such a turnoff. And so I would say, work on yourself before trying to seek that type of validation from someone else, because that can definitely become very toxic relationships and so forth. So
Exactly.
definitely build your confidence first before you start trying to jump into other things. So let's
Exactly.
let's jump into the next question. So okay, let's see. Okay, this is a good one. So this one might be from a man. How can men help women deal with some of their insecurities? Or like, how can I guess they're asking is like, how can men sometimes be helpful in because sometimes that man can be the cause of that insecurity. As a woman, if you're dating somebody, and he's always looking at the model that's this size or whatever, that might become a point of insecurity for you, where you're like, okay, I got to work on my weight or whatever, in order. So how can men be supportive in that realm of helping women not to have to deal with some of these different insecurities?
Well, a lot of times what I do, like at our job, is I have people, I tell them that once a month, or maybe not once a month, like every 90 days, we should be writing down five of our biggest weaknesses, or five of our biggest insecurities, or five of our biggest character defects, and trying to come up with a plan of attack on how we can address them. So if you and your woman are communicating like that, maybe you can sit down together and you can sit there, you can write down your insecurities, she can write down her insecurities, and then you can sit there and kind of coach each other. If she feels like she's getting a little on the thick side, let's join the gym together. Let's encourage each other to drink. The biggest gift that I got last year was a NutriBullet. Let's start drinking smoothies. Let's maybe do some intermediate fasting together. If she's feeling like there might be something that she needs to do at work so that she can excel and get further in her job. What can I do to help you study for your class, or different things of that nature? But it would all depend exactly on what the insecurity was. And then the man can just figure out exactly, hey, I can't really help you. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know either. I can't help you in that area, but I'm going to watch the kids for an hour on Wednesday nights so you can join a woman's group that can help you in that area. I can't help you, but I'll watch the kids in this on this night so that you can go join a poetry a book club and try to really get good at your craft. There's a ton of different things that any man or woman can do. It all just it matters on how they're going to work together as a team to make that happen. And like I always try to, if someone's feeling a particular way, or as if you're a man, listening is easy, but comprehending is an art, right? So comprehending means when you're retaining the information that the man or the woman sharing it with you, and you're trying to come back and articulate a response that can help them with it, just whatever they're going through, or they can feel your empathy and your sympathy. So a lot of times, that's one of the things that we have to do as men, is that like listening is just when we're just nodding our head like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But comprehend is when we're actually retaining what you're saying, processing it, and then taking the action to let you know that we're hearing you. So you have to listen intently to whatever your woman's insecurities are. And maybe even if you don't want to, take 15 minutes on lunch and say, what can I do to help her out in this situation?
Yeah, I think it's very important because as I speak to different women, not that I'm blaming anybody, but sometimes, that is the source. Like that's a big part of that insecurity is, my boyfriend said this to me, and now, I feel some type of way about it. I become insecure. And now I start to say, oh, well, maybe I could lose a few pounds, or maybe this, or maybe that. And so, that which brings me to my next question. So, someone asked, let me pull it up really quickly. Does do men care about, or I guess they're asking, like, do men care? How much do men care about body types? As far as, okay, is it, like if I'm curvy, like is it something wrong with that? If I'm a size 2, is it something wrong with that? Like how much do men really care about, like how much time do y'all really, from a man perspective, like how much time do y'all really spend thinking about, okay, well, she gotta be, and I think it comes with age, but I'm gonna let you just handle that.
So yeah, it does matter. Everybody, I'm just keeping it 100. I have to be truthful. So I realize it's different places that you're in your life as a man. Different things the physical is the attraction, but what's in the mind is what's gonna keep the relationship together. What's in the heart's gonna keep the relationship together. And so I like to sit there and say that, like, when a man sees a woman, there's kind of boxes. There's the girlfriend box. There's a wife. There's like the I just want to chill box. There's the girlfriend box, and then there's the wifey box. But there's room for improvement to work to those different boxes. But I mean, if there's someone that you're not physically attracted to, there is the instances where someone's personality can wear on you. But how a person looks, that's that instant, like, hold up, excuse me, can I have a minute of your time? Can I get your number? Because of what you see physically. But then there's other situations where there might be someone that's not, your type physically. But I realize now, because I'm older, I'll be 50 in a couple weeks, that like you have to look at a little bit more than just what's in the body. Because, okay, you're in the bedroom, we give you whatever from 2 minutes to an hour. What do you do with the other person, the other 23 hours in the day, if all you're worried about is their physical component, right?
That's
There's
true.
four letters in love, but there's also 4 levels. There's mental, there's emotional, there's spiritual, and there's physical. And with time and wisdom, I've realized that the physical is of the least importance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it does, it brings on the pleasure, but the pleasure is also what brings on the drama. It brings on the child support. It brings on get your stuff, call Tyrone. So, and then that's what happens is a lot of brothers just have that physical connection with the woman. And then what happens is when you go to prison, you wonder why she's left you in 2 weeks, because you weren't mentally, emotionally, and spiritually connected. There's always someone out there that can fill that void. Trust and believe. So, but yes, the initial, like, damn, that has to do with how you look. But in some cases, you're like, I don't know. You know those cases where you're like, there's a woman with a dude, and you're like, what is she doing with him? That's that. That's that. That's when they're playing all four of them levels in the word love, right? Yeah. And it's the same thing with the guy. You might be like, what's he doing with her? They're connecting on other realms that just aren't physical. Because at the end of the day, and like, I've always, my whole life, I can be honest now, there would be a good woman that was good for me on all four levels of love, but I always wanted the ego enhancer. Who's going to look the best when I go around my boards? But at the end of the exactly, arm candy or ego enhancer. But at the end of the day, we go home, she's treating me like, not treating me half as good as the other girl that might not have been attractive was treating me. She was taking care of the laundry, making sure I'm good, helping me with my studies, doing this. And I just want the girl that's going to look good on my Facebook or my Instagram. At the end of the day, it's good in the moment, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the longevity, it doesn't carry its worth. But yeah, it does. There is some, I can't lie, the look does do something, but everybody's got different tastes. There's somebody out there for everybody. Some people like thick, some people like thin. Everybody's choice and preference is different, just like cookies. Some people like Oreos, some people like oatmeal. My preference is chocolate chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, that is so true. I think it's so true. And I think even, as women, like, we have our preferences as well. And for us to even say that we don't pay attention to, the physical, it would be a lie, because we not, my eyes see, like, I'm not going to be, you over here talking to me or whatever. Like, I definitely want to make sure that I can look at you. Yes. There has to be something that attracts. But then when you talk about the four levels, it's so true, because that connection is what's going to keep you, lasting. Because the person look good, because I've dated people where they look real good, and then it's like, you can't hold a conversation. Like, you don't have exactly. After I'm done looking at you, that's it. I could have watched you on the TV.
Yep. Gucci on the outside, Kmart on the inside.
I'm talking about listen, right? Kmart on the inside. On the inside. We can't even have one conversation.
Exactly.
So definitely. Well, this has been so amazing, Math. Like, I can't believe we've already been chatting it up, and I know you want to spit some bars.
No, so what I want, did you get 5 people to put their thing in the cash app?
We got 3.
Okay.
They must not want no money.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do with the 3 people is, I was trying to get 5 people, and I was basically gonna give them all $5 to get a coffee. But what I'm gonna do with the 3 people is, I'm gonna give each person $10. You can either take the $10 and pay for your coffee over the next couple of days, or you can take the $10 and you can see someone that might need it really in the street, and build their confidence up. If you see someone that might be struggling, or if you know a mother that might be down on her luck and she needs some help with some diapers, take that $10 and I'm going to send you. And then, or you could see someone that might be on the side of the road, and build their confidence up, because I know this dialogue tonight was about confidence. And sometimes just giving something to someone without expecting something in return is the way that we can build up their confidence. Or if you just choose to buy, I'll buy you coffee for the next couple of days if you choose to keep it. So the 3 people that put their cashes up, and then I'll be sending you the money shortly.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I just thought that would be a good thing to do, is to try to build up. Sometimes when we just pull over for 2 seconds, that person's going to say, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. A little bit of dialogue, that little passing of that $10 might make their week. You know what I mean? Or that's all it takes. Then their confidence and their self-esteem. Hey, man, I've been in your shoes. Take this $10, man. Do what you got to do. But I've been there. If you need some help, possibly even test, see if you're really confident, or if you're practicing arrogance. Are you too confident to shake that person's hand because they might not have as much as you? That's what sometimes these things that we have to do. So I'll make sure that we get
Definitely.
that cash app to those people so that
Shout
they can
out to
either.
all my peoples. Let's keep this train moving, man. Let's keep it moving. So Mav, I want you to share some spoken word with us tonight before we get off. I know
Okay.
you be spitting.
I'm fortunate I didn't have enough time to memorize it, but I can do. I have a little poem. I'm gonna call it confidence. So
Okay.
that it goes like this. Confidence is achieved by walking through fear. If you're sensitive and insecure, I'm one of your peers. Knowledge and wisdom is like glasses. It helps us see things clear. If you're stuck in the same place, the problem is fear. Self-care is more valuable than social media's love and likes. Self-love keeps self-hate in check, just like a pair of Nikes. Toxic thinking is a virus. Mindfulness is the vaccine. Confidence and healthy self-esteem is the key to achieving our dreams. Make God the captain if you want a winning team. Confidence rising every day as mathematics is my true meaning of cream. And with that, I say peace.
I love that. That's
Just a little
awesome.
confidence poem.
That's good. I really enjoyed that. That's awesome. So, Matt, tell all the people how they can follow you, social media, how can they connect with you, all that good stuff.
So I'm on Facebook as Mathematics MX Grands, and then I'm on social media and on Instagram and YouTube as Mathematics Math Love 101. There's a space, there's a word mathematics, and then there's a space, and then it's Math Love all 101 all in one word. And so I do a lot on social media as far as like just trying to be inspirational. I put some videos and I'm trying to create more content like what I'm doing now for YouTube and Instagram. And you gave me the confidence. I have a cousin, she might be on here now, that's been telling me to create this type of platform. And I really appreciate you having me on here. I honor and value your professionalism and the way that you conducted this whole interview. And it was definitely it was an hour well spent on a Sunday night, to build up my confidence. And hopefully I gave some information that might be able to be of value to somebody else.
Yes, you definitely did. I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Okay.
I've always been inspired by you, just, the way that, you live your life and the way that you reach back and you give back. And you're constantly uplifting other people that are in recovery, and other people that, you're just a breath of fresh air, Math. So I just want to thank you for coming on tonight. Definitely, we would love to have you back. So, whenever
Most
you're ready
definitely.
to come back, and we'll have another dialogue. So thank you so much for coming on. I just really want to tell everybody. So we're going to be launching, well, not even we're going to, but we're going to have a virtual launch party for my tea, for Confidence Tea Infusions, which is literally a luxury line of tea, which I showed you guys. You can order it. We have a couple of different sizes. And so it's loose leaf tea, and tea has very therapeutic qualities, but we have different lines of tea. So we have some functional tea, so that's your detox, that's your weight loss, all of that stuff. And then we have our
Mm.
other our other line of luxury teas. And so you can go to www.confidenceteainfusions.com in order to order your tea. And join us Sunday nights. We're here, we're having confidence building conversations, and we're talking about everything. We're talking from mental health to relationships to tonight was just getting a man's perspective on how we as women conduct ourselves in a confident way. And so I look forward to just continuing this journey with you all. So tea and conversation, y'all, this is what we do. Confidence Tea Infusions. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Share this video. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and if you want to be a guest on Confidence Tea Infusions, you can always find me on social media, all my different platforms. I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok.
Okay.
I got all of them.
All right.
So I'm the same. So on all social platforms at Girls Igniting. Okay, all social platforms at Girls Big 19, putting it in the chat for y'all. So definitely connect with me if you want to be a guest. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, send it to me. Let me know what you want to hear. So thank you guys so much. Math, thank you for tuning in.
No
And I
problem.
wanted
Thank
to
you for having
say,
me.
yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Okay.
So thank you guys. Have a wonderful night.